Hello and welcome. Today is July 21st, 2016, and I am Rebecca Rhardcastlewright, founder of the Institute for Exoconsciousness. Today we are privileged to bring you a message from my dear friend Cynthia Crawford. This message is for those of us who are ET experiencers, starseeds, exoconscious, and every citizen of the earth. It is a message regarding the need for us to join with our ET families. Cynthia is truly an ET, a hybrid of two races. In 2003, Cynthia began to create sculptures of various ET races, always benevolent beings. Her sculptures found homes with ET experiencers, starseeds, exoconscious, citizens of the earth who contacted Cynthia to tell her about their encounters, their healing, their experiences with ETs. Her sculptures are actually able to connect ET experiencers with their star family. Cynthia was mentioned and featured in a chapter in Miguel Mendonca's book, Meet the Hybrids. And Miguel is with us today.
Hi, nice to be with you.
Cynthia is also a member of Carol Druhl's group of ET experiencers called the Institute for Human Cosmic Interaction, and Carol is also with us today.
Hi, thank you.
I'm going to give us just a little very brief context of why we are offering this video to you, why we are bringing Cynthia's message to you. Just about a week ago, Cynthia was diagnosed with a brain tumor and underwent a very extensive brain surgery in Phoenix, Arizona. During the surgery, Cynthia was surrounded by ETs who gave her information about the need for us as ET experiencers, starseeds, exoconscious individuals, communities, and groups to connect with our star families. She was given information about a vision for our galactic future as part of a peaceful, benevolent ET community. So thank you, Cynthia, for joining us, and thank you for sharing your message today.
Thank you so much for having me. I just feel so honored and so blessed to be able to pass this information on. So I'm going to try and keep it short so I can remember how to say things. But let me put it this way. Back in the late 1990s, I began waking up and getting messages of to kind of tweak me into going down a certain path. By 97, I was having conscious contact with the star people. I was going on their ships on a fairly regular basis for a while they put me through a school of remembering. After that, I began making sculptures. Now, I was not allowed to know my full mission. I was only allowed to know my step-by-step mission. So I did it properly. And I began making these sculptures and sometimes would go into a trance as certain beings would come through me to help me make the sculptures, which was a real blessing. So, and eventually more and more star people began coming to me. What's happened recently is I found out so much more about these sculptures, what they're going to do for you, but also what we need to focus on in the very near future. First of all, the sculptures, as Rebecca had explained, they connect to your star family, but there are many of us on the ground that are crew members. We work in groups, and I can't properly vocalize this, but there will be others to help you understand it. And what my job is right now is to primarily, get all the starseeds around the world together and on track. But when those who are in my that need me, need to connect with me, because I am going to be leaving soon. I don't know how soon, 3-4 months. I might even get 5 or 6 months. I don't know, but I'm going to keep working until I get my work done. And I want you to know, first of all, it's just my body that's going to be leaving Earth, but I'm going back into my galactic body on the ship. And I'm going to be helping all of you as I can. So your sculptures work almost like a phone to me. If you need to get a hold of me or to have some help, hold your sculptures to your heart chakra. Imagine my face or just tune in to me and we will connect. We're going to put together, because this is extremely urgent, we do this now. We need to get, especially the young star seeds that are in their 20s and 30s, get them stabilized now. Their work is going to be coming up really quick. And they are the ones that's going to be working this planet to help others. They're the ones that's also going to be using their powers of love to help balance the frequency, because the planet is going to have some major events happening. And it's going to start really soon. We've already seen with some of the crime going on, and we are being told, whatever you do, understand this is the last that we have to, last time we've got to be prepared, and in our hearts. Because what's happening, I'm getting many calls from people recently who are under attack by the dark side, by those who fear us accomplishing our missions on Earth. You people know who you are. You have the feeling that you have a mission. You have something to do here. And many of you are so confused right now, not knowing where to go. Several of you have become homeless because you're just coming out of the coma and you need help. So we're going to set up a program. I should say these wonderful people are going to set up a program, because I won't be able to, but set up a program to help all of you star seeds get back into your powers, get back into using your protection. We have to get strong in that and get into your hearts and concentrate, because we need to start flooding the planet with golden light, healing light, and love, lots of love. The darker and more negative a person is, or a being is, we have to love them even harder. We have to surround them in the light even more, because they cannot take our power away from us as long as we stay strong in unconditional love and working with the light. But we must do this, because they're going to do everything they can to keep us from uniting with our groups, from coming into our powers and accomplishing our mission. So we need each other. We need to find each other. We need to all get together. Every group, a UFO group that's interested in being a part of this, I beg you to, because we need to reach out to everyone. And we need to get this organized. We don't have much time. We've got to get it ready. We've got to find those starseeds that need us right now and get them set up. They really need that. That was so urgent last night. The council was saying we really have to help these starseeds, because they are so confused. They know they're supposed to do something, but they don't know how to do it because they're not able to focus. So let's get on the ball, and let's all of us chip in. Anyone who can volunteer, we would really appreciate, because you all have great expertise. We also could use as much, I'm begging you as well, for donations, and somehow we're going to have to set up a Starseed account to help these people get situated where it's safe now. So I wish I was a millionaire. I would do it. I ended up coming in poor. So Anyway, but we've got to do that. We've all got to give from our hearts. And I also want to thank all of you who have been donating money to me to help me get through this. I got to thank you so much. You have just, I can't feel more blessed. This has been just the most incredible, eye-opening experience in my life. And it's something that all of us are going to appreciate. We're going to get through this soon. And then we're going to be on the ships when we're done with our mission, and we're going to be celebrating. But your alliances have come to me and asked me also to say a word for them, because not everyone's with the same alliance, but we're all working together. So for all alliances, if you run into any situations, problems, or you need help with something, contact us, because we need to help one another.
Cynthia, this is Carol. I wanted to just mention, I know, Rebecca, you have a way to receive funds, correct, at your website. I don't know if you have a 501c3, but certainly that would be something you might want to mention at the end of the meeting. And IHCI does also have a 501c3. And if there are people who wish to donate, we probably should make mention of a way in which they could do that. And it would be for your project, Cynthia, for the star seeds. And what you're describing today would be very important. And just know that any funds received or donated will be on your behalf and in relation to your good work.
Thank you so much. The other thing is people who have rooms, you know, that can put up some of the star seeds on their mission. And you will get to know them, because this was so much greater than I ever fathomed. I had no idea just how big this Project Earth really is. And I don't really know the title that all the alliances are calling it, but it is massive. And we have beings, star seeds, from so many groups. They're just awesome. And many of them came in with some of their own identity, so you can recognize them here on Earth. So it's awesome. I just love it.
Part of our work with Exoconsciousness is helping to see that the ability to connect and communicate with extraterrestrials is part of every human experience here on Earth, that we'll all have a connection to this extraterrestrial or starseed, that it's in us. It's what makes us human in many ways. So I think that's part of the vastness that you're talking about, waking up to who we are as humans, to say that part of my identity, part of my physical body actually is extraterrestrial.
I agree. And by the way, there's one other thing I want to mention is in our DNA, I just found this out. These sculptures will also activate your DNA, but if you can afford one, I'm going to be trying to make as many as I can before I go to help people. But they will activate the DNA. There's different sequences that's going to activate our telepathic communication, our ability to bilocate, and so forth. So, I mean, our powers are beyond imagination. And it's just so exciting to know that it's all coming together.
Did they give you a vision of what it would look like as this is happening, how this would look on Earth and for the Earth itself, not only just for we as humans, but for the Earth itself? Have they given you a vision of what this would look like?
Yes, they have. And they told me, of course I heard this back in the 90s, but not everything did I want to believe, because nobody wants to go through the pole shift and the planetary shifts or changes that are going to be going on through this, but there's a large number of events. Number one, Earth, this event here happening now has to do with the humans ascending to complete their final third dimensional process. That's what it's all been about. And they have missed out on several chances to ascend because they were overwhelmed by all this materialistic world, and overwhelmed by all, being in power, having all kinds of things, and they didn't seem to feel that there was something more important. And it's okay. We all we all had to go through this before we became masters. So the humans are working on the mastery. Not all of them are going to make it, but that's okay. There's some other planets that are set up where they will be able to complete their third dimensional process or ascension before they become masters. But right now we're here helping those that are ready, because then what they're going to do, from my understanding, is there is a new Earth that has been created in which they will integrate with many of the races. It'll be, of course, a planet of pure love and peace, and there's going to be so many different races, and we'll all intermingle. We're going to learn how to work together and so forth. From there, those that have completed that process will have the opportunity to go before many councils to decide what they want to do. There's so many alliances and councils around the universe, and many of them join. They group together to teach the new ones that have just moved into the fifth dimension what things that they have available around the universe that they can participate in. I was shocked how many different programs, alliances, and just everything, and they've got they've got like a science program where people go to other planets, and they I'm so sorry. Can't seem to get things to turn off here. Anyway, so basically what this is we are trying just to get the starseeds again on their feet, remembering what they've got to do, and then there will be other sections and so forth that will be working on other planets to help those that have moved over to the planets and help those that are ready, train, all kinds of wonderful training. It's just phenomenal. It's like nothing I ever imagined.
Cynthia, something I'd like to ask, which is that when working together on Meet the Hybrids, what stayed with me, I think, the most in your chapter, in that whole experience, and it came from some of the other guys as well, but I think you were the first person who'd really kind of impressed this upon me, was this business of get people getting out of their heads and into their hearts. I wonder if you would like to say a few words about that, and about how how you do that, and how other people might.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you how I do it and the purpose of it. But there are those of you that when you put together this program will be able to offer fabulous advice and techniques and everything to the starseeds. So the reason we have to get out of our heads and into our hearts is every time that we put out any negative thoughts, even against ourselves, even though we're very spiritual, but we say, oh, I can't do that. Or I don't know how to do that. I need help because I'm a whiner. And when we do that, we actually are not coming into our power. So we need to get in our power, and we need to believe in ourselves. But we have to also realize, again, many people are getting attacks, especially people that have children. They're the star seeds. They're attacking the children to keep the star seeds from completing their mission. So what we have to do, again, is focus on, they're only doing their job. We got to let go of our anger and resentment, because we're going to give them our power if we do that. So what we need to do is just envelop them in so much love and not fear them. No, treat them as if they're like a spoiled kid throwing a temper tantrum. You know what I mean? Because when I had to go through this a few years ago, I went through 3 weeks of being attacked by attachments. And then I had these beings come in and break my sculptures, and they were trying to stop me from doing my work. My first reaction was to get angry, and that was the worst thing I could have done. My next reaction was to reach out for help. So I reached out for those that could help me calm myself and learn to protect myself. So at one point I was being attacked 25, 30 times a day, even more than that, for 3 weeks. And I literally had to get to that point where I would just pull the attachment off of me, pull it to my heart chakra, and I would hug them like a child, like a little toddler. I would hug them and I'd say, thank you so much for showing me where my weaknesses are. I love you unconditionally, but I'll be happy to take you to the light. And they stopped bugging me. So, yes.
Can you, some people who will be watching this will be questioning in their own minds, what do you mean by beings and why would they attack? Because there is a dichotomy here. You have very loving beings who work with you. And if you could define just a little bit about that, that might be helpful.
Okay, so these other dimensional beings, and I'll tell you, there's many different beings that have come here to stop us. They're working with the dark side because, again, this is, you might call it the battle between the light and the light and the dark. So there are so many interdimensional beings, as well as the draconian. Some of the draconians, not all of them are bad. A lot of them are, but there's so many different races here on this earth that are of the negative energy, and we didn't know it. We couldn't see it through them. Some could see better than I could, I will admit that. But anyway, so what we've got to do, it's not about trying to take them out and kill them and get rid of them so that we'll be successful. It's about they're doing their job. It's about us knowing how to stop them from getting our power so we can do our job. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, it does. You explained that very beautifully. And I'd love for you to talk a bit about protection and how people can do that and maintain that steady state, living from a protected and loving place.
Well, I was talking to one of the star seeds the other day, and we were talking, her son was under attack. And so I told her that, again, it's about surrounding yourself and the being, the dark entity, with light and sending unconditional love from your heart into their heart. That is the protection. What it does is it puts up a shield around the entire body by doing that. And it also creates a frequency so high that those that come from the dark can't handle that frequency. You know, so they're going to leave you alone. I was forced last year, or maybe it was a year and a half ago, onto a draconian ship where I was shackled to a chair and taken like a prisoner. And the captain of the ship was trying to convince me, because he knew who I was, to work for the dark side. He had promised me all kinds of luxuries, my own army, and everything and anything I wanted if I would come over to the dark. And all I did was I smiled at him and I sent him so much love. And I said, thank you so much, but I'm a light worker and I'm not going to change, but I'll be happy to help you. So he put me back.
That's a beautiful example. And as we're living in this third dimension, we do have factions on the earth who are human, yeah, who are perhaps being affected and impacted by this. And again, how do we handle those folks?
The humans, you all, I wish I could tell you, but you all will be working together, and it's about the powers. Again, the star seeds have all the memory with them. We have to just activate that memory in them so they can imagine or remember what they're here to do. But they're going to be using tonals, is a lot of it. They're going to be using the frequency, the love frequency, and sending out love into the hearts. There is going to be an all-out war, but there's also, not only are there beings on this planet in certain locations that have been waiting for this moment, they have other star family members that are going to come in and fight from out in the universe trying to take us down. And so that's why we have so many starseeds. We've got all kinds of warriors of light from sectors all over the universe that are have come here. They gave up their true bodies on the ship to be here during this time. We've got others that are going to be here, those that move back and forth between dimensions or time and so forth to assist. But they all know exactly what to do. But the alliances have just asked us if we can get the starseeds out of a coma so they can have ongoing contact, where they can go automatically on the ships as needed, go to the conferences as needed, be given any additional training for the work, because there are going to be boots on the ground. The warriors are extremely well trained. And so
Cynthia,
yeah.
I'm hearing the importance of staying in the light, and that light eclipses the dark. There can be no darkness with the light. And this is what your life has been about, and you've shared with us so beautifully what your life has been about. I so know that you're going to be heading up this army of light workers in your next process here, your next step of living. And I just want to thank you for all that you've suffered and all that you've endured. And you've created something so full of light. And we must remember that at the darkest moments, there is the light. And I just want to thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
One of the things I've noticed in our culture, Cynthia, and I just wanted to ask you for your response to it, is that many of us get caught up in call it transhumanism or technology or different kinds of technology entrainment or technology that's going to take us to Mars or the moon. And my experience as an ET experiencer is that movement into other planets is very different than what I see happening on a moon mission, for example.
Right.
And would you talk a little bit about how the ET races that you work with see us moving intergalactically? I mean, from the exoconscious point of view, that's just a natural ability that's inside of us. You just move intergalactically. You don't need a nuclear reactor to do it with. It's an ability. So would you maybe talk a little bit about that? Because I think people who become star seeds and become awakened to their extraterrestrial being, I call it exoconscious being, oftentimes it comes through an interest in the space program, an interest in going to other planets. And how do we direct that interest into something that is benevolent and peaceful, as opposed to, you know, the next phase of colonialism, as it were. We're going to go colonize a planet. Thank you.
Okay. Well, the only thing I can say that I am aware of is that I'm just part of a small group that's helping to organize things here, but out in the universe, there is a lot going on out there. But again, the star seeds have been doing these missions for so long. It's the humans that the star seeds there will be volunteers that will take those humans that have finally ascended and will take them by the hand, and they will be their, you know, guides through the beginning of all this. It's already been planned out. You guys have worked on these plans. In fact, I was told that you guys are going to really be busy, because what we're doing here right now, what I'm explaining now, was part of the programs you guys designed before we came to Earth. We all sat down in a council meeting and we all talked about what we were going to do. So I'm only here to let you know what you're going to do, because I get the easy way out. I get to leave in a few months, you know, and it's really going to be easy. At first it was devastating, you know, so I really don't want anyone feeling sad, because I'm going to be back on the ships and working with everyone. Okay, it's just my body that won't be on Earth, but I'll be working with everyone, and I'll be loving you all extra, extra special.
I hear you're planning your new wardrobe, Cynthia.
Yeah. This is so funny, because I was remembering some of the visions of the uniforms that they wear on the ships, and the times when I saw myself on the ship. And last night I was trying to think, oh, I wonder which uniform I'm going to go into.
I knew that. I knew that.
It was so funny.
I want to thank you for, I know we talked on the phone, and I just want to thank you for acknowledging the plans that we made together and how important those plans were, and all of us who are involved in that, and all the people. I think there's people that are going to come forward that are just going to awaken to the fact that, oh, I was part of that planning too. And just the beauty of what you've given us to love ourselves enough to say, wow, you know, I was part of a big plan. My heart was part of a big plan to be in an earth body and love my body and love who I am as working with this plan. It's just a very beautiful gift you're giving all of us, and thank you so much.
Rebecca, I wanted to just make mention and ask Miguel for a moment. Miguel, you've had the benefit of knowing Cynthia and Skyping with her and organizing all of these wonderful thoughts and concepts into a book, Meet the Hybrids, and it's co-authored with you and Barbara Lamb, whom we cherish. And I just would like for you, if you wish, to take a moment and let people know that you're in the UK and you've done all this work. And we so appreciate you and all that you've accomplished. And I hope you're ready to be very busy.
Well, that's very kind of you to say. Yeah, I was actually talking with Cynthia about making her the first interview of the next book. I'm currently spent most of today writing my latest version of the introduction to the new book, that was kind of inspired by Meet the Hybrids, in that when doing that work, connecting with Cynthia and the other 7, I was struck continually by just how, what's the most diplomatic way I can put this? It felt like ufology as it has been conceived was in some ways a thing of the past. You know, that's how I felt at the time. And as I kind of thought about this further, moved along, it seemed to me that ufology is actually a subset of a larger inquiry. And I interviewed Rebecca as part of the new book, and she's actually the final chapter in it, which works perfectly for me, because where she takes it is to this place of exoconsciousness. It's to a place of understanding that we all have an extraterrestrial nature, in a sense. It is about something that's, I think so much of this is about transcending boundaries and constraints, and even the constraints of language. I was talking about how difficult it was to kind of find a term that can encapsulate all of the things that we're talking about. And I found myself, looking at, in conversation with some Taoists, because it keeps reminding me of the Tao or Brahman. It's because through working with Cynthia and the others, I understood that this whole subject is not about spaceships and aliens. This is actually about all of reality. This is about all of us moving ever outwards in our understanding of reality, its nature, its structure, its purpose, the journey of the soul, all of these things. And prior to connecting with the hybrids, I actually felt I'd kind of plateaued. Like everything that I was finding in my research was, in an amateur capacity, let's say, it was all starting to sound the same. It was all starting to kind of go around in circles, and I was seeing the same people saying the same things at the same conferences, writing the same things, and it felt like I felt like I was starting to hit the kind of buffers. And I actually feel that there is a frustration that occurs in some people when they research this subject, because there is a certain point that you cannot get past unless you actually start to develop an exoconsciousness, unless you actually start to understand that this is not a thing that's happening to other people. This is a thing that involves absolutely all of life everywhere. This is about the unity of all things. This is about the journey of the soul, the nature of everything that we've ever thought about. And that's what's so interesting when you look at, by the time I got to writing the conclusion to Meet the Hybrids, I said this information is actually not new. This is actually very, very traditional. There are innumerable saints and prophets and mystics and shaman that have experienced these realms, that have come to this unity of understanding, the oneness of all things. It's just that it's coming from a very different direction. So it's like we're all in the same room, we just entered through different doors. So that was part of the gift of connecting with Cynthia and the others. And
I also in my Institute for Human Cosmic Interaction, we have quite a few scientists, physicists, people who are looking at the technological advances we've made, and I'm ever reminded that we are creating with our thought. And everything is coming to one place, one level of understanding. We are now accepting there are innumerable planets and many other life forms. Why wouldn't we interact? And Cynthia has done such a beautiful job of being here on the planet as a pioneer and a gifted woman who recognized that she does create with her thought, and that out of her thought, she's come to accept what you, Miguel, are experiencing. There's so much more, and how we can interact with it. And I just thank you both. And Rebecca, I thank you for all your diligent work. And I'm going to be quiet now.
Cynthia, I want to respect your time. You told me originally about a half hour would be good for you. We've gone over that boundary. I hope it's okay. But I want you to just maybe close for us in any way you want to. It could be a meditative close. It could be just words of wisdom that you want to bring us. And just know that we're going to share this message that you brought us today throughout the planet. And it's your message. So please close us and let us know you and know your spirit in a way that maybe those people who will watch this video never knew you. And what a privilege it is that we can have this. Thank you.
Well, my closing statement is going to be simple, because I have to tell you, I have never felt so much incredible love and so much of all of us working together. As I've gotten, many of us thought we just happened to meet each other. But again, this was all pre-planned. And that I want to thank the Starseeds and tell you, we're going to do everything we can to help you complete your mission. And that you gave up your life on your ship or wherever you were to come into human form to assist us on this planet. It is just phenomenal. And all I can say is I am just so grateful to work with all of you awesome, awesome starseeds for what we're about to do. We've got a little time left that we'll be going through many events, but we're going to do it together. And we're going to do it as partners in our groups. And we're going to form the Starseed groups. It's going to be much easier now that we understand it's time to prepare. I love you all, and thank you so much for all you have given humanity and this planet. It's just beyond words.
Thank you, Cynthia. We'll close with that. Thank you. I'll turn it off.